Welcome to Football Game Plan Scout Team. I'm Emery Hunt, the czar of the playbook. And now that the 2021 NFL Draft is complete, let's take a look back and see how well these teams did this past April. With rookie minicamps done and the 90-man roster with the undrafted free agents locked in as they head into training camp, let's evaluate the entire class and hand out a grade. So without further ado, let's take a look at the Football Game Plan Scouting grading scale to see what these numbers next to the prospects actually mean. The Tennessee Titans were busy during the 2021 NFL Draft with 8 selections. I thought they were able to come away with impact players across the board, especially on defense, but they also impacted their special teams. Racey McMath is probably one of the best core special teamers in the draft class, but has upside as a receiver. I think he's going to be a better pro than he was collegiate because he's going to get the opportunity to really make some hay at wide receiver. And Brady Breeze is a point and shoot type of a safety, a guy that's another one of these core special teams that should help impact those units, as well as Monty Rice, the linebacker from Georgia. 74 overall grade I have for him. Just a solid all-around football player that will provide quality depth on the second level. What I like most about the Titans draft was that they got significantly better in the secondary with 2 selections. You're talking about Caleb Farley and Elijah Molden out of Washington. Farley was my number 1 overall cornerback prospect in the class. I had a higher grade on him than I had on Patrick Surtain and J.C. Horn. Health permitting, this is one of the premier players at the position because he has instincts, athleticism, and most importantly, the ball skills. And speaking of ball skills, if you want to find a football on the field, just look for Elijah Molden because he's going to be around where the football is. This dude has a complete understanding of passing concepts and zone coverage and just understands the passing game completely, which is why he's always around the football. So you just put 2 ball skill type players in your secondary that have good football IQ and good instincts. It's going to make your secondary that much better as a whole. I also was a big fan of Rashad Weaver out of Pitt. This guy just plays the point of attack very well. He's good versus the run. He shows a knack to getting to the quarterback and getting pressure. So he can do it well on both ends of defense and does a great job of using his hands to not only set an edge but also disengage from blocks. And I was a big fan of Dylan Radins, who they got out of North Dakota State. To me, he's a plug and play guy. You talk about a replacement for Isaiah Wilson. This is your guy. You think about the offense he came out of at North Dakota State and what he does really well. He sets the tone in the run game. He does a good job in not allowing pressure in pass protection, and just a really good overall prospect coming from the FCS ranks. And Dez Fitzpatrick, the wide receiver from Louisville, is just a pro's pro. This guy takes his job very seriously. You see him show a little bit of nuance and working himself open versus tight man coverage or finding a soft spot in the zone, and just was a productive player all throughout his career at Louisville and should push for a starting spot in their 3 wide receiver set. So I'm a big fan of where they got him and the type of prospect he is. The Tennessee Titans also cleaned up in the undrafted free agent market as well. Naquan Jones of Michigan State at 6'4", 340. I'm a big fan of the potential versatility of Jones. He can play the 1, the 5, straight up as a nose at the next level, and displays a lot of the key traits that you want to see from a defensive lineman, like hand usage, length, and core strength. He has good patience at the line of scrimmage and using that length to read, react, and then disengage. Justice Reed of Virginia Tech sets a strong physical edge and does a great job of adjusting that edge based upon the pass set of the offensive tackle. So he will not let the defense get outflanked to his side. He has excellent functional power that really gets some knockback off the ball and is able to use that one-arm stab or two-handed sleigh push to walk an offensive lineman into the backfield. And because of his age, I think he's arguably the most quote-unquote pro-ready defensive lineman in the class. What you see is what you're going to get, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. So he has a really good chance to make the roster. Reminds me a lot of Olivier Vernon. Torrey Carter out of LSU was my number 2 fullback in the class. He has really good explosiveness off the ball and does a great job in just rolling his hips into a defender and finishes his blocks with a passion. He shows the ability to block from the backfield and also on the line of scrimmage, which speaks to his flexibility and versatility at the position. He's a core special teamer who is on every special team unit at LSU. Briley Moore out of Kansas State was an underrated tight end prospect coming out in this class. He has good short area quickness and burst for a guy his size. He's 6'4", 250, and he's definitely a solid one-on-one player who could win with that quickness. He has above average hands and shows comfort in catching the ball away from his body and also on the move. He's a solid red zone option as well with underrated fluidity. I think he's a better athlete than many people will give him credit for and shows solid ability as a run after the catch player. His game reminds me a lot of Trey Burton. So I thought they got two solid fullback H-back types in Briley Moore as well as Torrey Carter. I'm giving the Titans an A for their draft. Just a solid draft all the way around. They just significantly improved the secondary, got some good point of attack players with the undrafted free agent Justice Reed, but also with their draft pick Rashad Weaver out of Pitt, who I think will have a chance to shine early as a rookie. And he also built depth across the board. You talk about Monty Rice and Brady Breeze. Those guys are going to be core special teamers. But Dylan Radin should be a plug-and-play starter at right tackle. I just love the way he attacks defensive linemen in the run game. Just a solid job overall for Tennessee. So that's it for this edition of Football Game Plan Scout Team. I'm Emery Hunt, the czar of the playbook. Be sure to follow me on all of my social media accounts. And don't forget to check out and subscribe to the Football Game Plan Network located at youtube.com/footballgameplan. Also subscribe on iTunes to Football Game Plan Podcast and leave us a 5-star rating.